Yo, what's up guys? So in today's video, we will be analyzing the new meta, or whatever I think the new meta is in DP battles. So the new meta seems to be any high DP character of your choice. A lot of people choose MUI Goku, Whis, and Fusions. I do think the strongest high DP character is Goku, and the next one is Whis. MUI Goku, I should say specifically. And how people build their teams around it is just choose whatever high DP character you want, and then you put cannon fodder surrounding it. So maybe Buff Roshi, Spopovich, Raccoon, any low DP character, and then those low DP characters just play a supporting role while your high DP character sits on the bench and regenerates what little health you can get now. Another meta is to maybe use the base form fusions, and then you'll have maybe a mid DP character surrounding them. That way you do have a relatively high damaging character plus a mid character, so it's not that bad. And another viable meta is still a 5-man team. It's still viable. As you can see, that's what I'm doing. But to summarize what just happened, Elwa's goal was to stall me out until he had enough skill points to transform and also just charge into sparking mode right after. So he stalled out for 3 skill points. Once he got 3 skill points, he transformed to MUI Goku, giving him a full ki gauge. If I don't have enough ki to Z burst dash at him, he will charge into sparking mode. And then if I try to approach him, he'll just shoot me with ki blasts. And then since MUI Goku charges ki at the speed of light, he could still be able to charge into sparking mode despite having spent some ki to zone me out. So as you can see, he successfully got his game plan off. My game plan was just to try to approach him and kick his ass if I can. That in my opinion is probably the best way to stop MUI Goku. Too bad Elwa is a decent player, so it was a struggle for me. But you will see MUI Goku is very difficult to get around. He is very strong, and not to mention UI Sign is only 8 DP, so Elwa is able to fit on a mid DP character, being Adult Gohan. So UI Goku is very cost efficient and probably the strongest, even against the higher DP, the 10 DP characters. But you could see Elwa is decent. I had Elwa do this to me. It was just on my stream. It's player match. I had him do this to me because someone in my chat said that Videl and Roshi were more difficult to overcome than MUI Goku and Whis. And yeah, I just had to demonstrate that MUI Goku is not easier to overcome than Videl and Roshi was in the previous meta. As you can see, one of MUI Goku's greatest strengths is how many knockback chains he gets. Right? If he wins one Vanish War and has enough skill points, he will get instant sparking off. And in instant sparking, if you do a charged smash attack, it becomes unblockable. You have to dodge it. You cannot super perception it. You cannot block it. So what he does, yep, you can see, just shoot me with Ki Blast. Once he sees I'm blocking, he will hit me with a charged smash attack. And my goal here is to try and stall out his sparking mode with super counters. There's no point in me trying to challenge the Vanish War because he will win it. He is in sparking mode. And I know super countering will reset the knockback chains, but even if he finished his knockback chains, in sparking mode you get free Z burst dashes. He will be able to continue the loop and continue knocking me back. He has ki advantage here, so I just don't even bother. And not to mention, I do think I'm glitched out of the second Vanish. So yes, I'm at a massive disadvantage because I'm glitched out of the second Vanish, except for this situation. I'm not sure why. But yeah, regardless, I would have lost the match. And you can see how we coined this ping pong meta, where if you just use a character who has a lot of knockback chains and you maintain ki advantage, you'll probably win the game from just constantly knocking them back. And then if you can manage to get into sparking mode, you're just that much stronger. And you can just see how many times he could ping pong me around. I barely touched his MUI Goku. I barely damaged him, and you can see how he's sweeping my whole team. So So I wish I could give you guys a counter for this, right? My best counter is once you find the opening to beat Goku's ass, you have to take advantage of it. Do as much damage as you can before he transforms. And then once he does transform, you gotta make sure that you have a lot of ki. But even then, once he transforms, he will have a full ki gauge. And if they're a smart player, they won't transform until they have 3 skill points. Because like I said earlier, what a lot of MUI Goku players do is they'll transform, get the full ki gauge. That 1 extra skill point will allow them to just raw charge into sparking mode.
It was just so much harder to deal with than this. You know, I would much rather deal with constant instant sparking. You know, it's not a problem. No, not instant sparking, constant sparking mode.
And that was probably a mistake by me, but at this point, I've already kind of given up. Oh, I could challenge Vanish Wars. Maybe I'm not glitched out this match, but regardless, I have to try and just stall him out with super counters because the loop will be endless. This is a true combo. I cannot do anything about it unless Elwa makes a mistake. And like I said, Elwa is a good player. He is within the top 20. He will not make mistakes like that.
I'm just gonna say.
And it's easy to make sure your Vanish Wars are on point. Okay, I finally caught him. Oh, no, he gets a super counter off on me.
Have not faced anybody that's good.
Yeah, I'm just resetting his knockback chain. At this point, I've already lost a match. I think the Slug is my last. Yeah, Slug is my last character, so I'm just labbing super counters here. I got 3 off in a row there. Yay! I finally won. I finally won 1 exchange. It's so difficult to win these ping pong exchanges against. Yeah, you could see. Once he gets instant sparking off, he just goes up to you, throws a few ki blasts, hits you with the unblockable smash attack. If you guys know a good counter to MUI Goku, then let me know. But yeah, MUI Goku is just like, he's S tier all around in terms of gameplay. He does a lot of damage. His zoning is insane. His ki charging is insane. His movement is insane. He has auto dodging. His tools in sparking mode is insane. He has insane supers. So MUI Goku is going to be very difficult to get around. But once I learn how to play around him, I'll let you guys know. But here's Goma. He is a Whis main. He told me he went 101 in ranked using Whis. My game plan here is to stall out Whis until I have Super Saiyan. Having an explosive wave against Whis is very, very good. You do not want to be opened up by Whis. Whis is like the opposite of Goku, right? Goku is good at the long range game, but once Whis gets a hold of you and gets a combo off on you, that's maybe 20k damage. So you do not want to get touched by Whis. Whis is kind of like Diddy, you know? He gives off those vibes. But you can see, yep, explosive wave saves me. I choose to disengage. I only engage when I'm confident in being able to open him up. And you could zone out Whis pretty easily. Right, because Whis' ki blasts are not the strongest. Yep, explosive wave saves me again. I try to disengage. He has enough for a regeneration very soon. But because of how the game works now, it's hard to stop people from getting their regeneration off unless you have a lot of ki at your disposal. Yeah, most times I just let them get that regeneration off. Like, I just let them do it. Because I know they have a weaker character surrounding Whis, so hopefully I'll be able to down their other characters. But you can see my team has Explosive Wave. It's a very good counter to Whis. You could also use an Explosive Wave in the middle of Whis' super. So what a lot of Whis players love to do is do a low sweep into that one super that you cannot vanish. I've been told you could vanish it, but the timing is probably like near impossible to get. So the best thing to do is just Explosive Wave in the middle of the super, and then you'll only eat half of the damage maybe. But Whis is still dangerous because his normal attacks do so much damage, it's insane. And a lot of people have been telling me, oh, you should just join the meta and use high DP characters. I probably will. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Right now, I'm just using my old team because I want to see if I'm able to beat the meta with the old meta. Which, my team isn't completely old meta. Raccoon and Adult Gohan were meta, but Jason and Slug are quite odd picks. But they are very good because of Explosive Wave, so that helps me. Luckily for me, Goma didn't have enough ki there to do a super. So he did catch me with a combo. I was lucky enough that he didn't have enough ki to do a super. Which is very, very scary. Okay, here comes my Gohan. I engage. Maybe not the best choice, but I chose to engage because I had an Explosive Wave at my disposal. If I got opened up, I was able to keep myself safe, which is exactly what I did. Ooh. Yep. With a lot of Whis players, they just go for the low sweep immediately. And that if you block low, you'll probably be able to punish them. If they're smart, they will set it up with a gut punch, but once they set up the gut punch, you have to look for the low sweep. So it is a little more predictable. But you could also just eat the guard break from the gut punch and then block low. I think I'm locked out of the second Vanish, so I'm just forced to try and super counter the Vanish Wars. It's mainly a glitch that happens to me in player match, not so much in ranked DP, which this is another clip from my stream, so sorry for the low quality again. As you can see, there is still 30 more minutes of footage, so this is going to be the last clip from my stream. I just wanted to show you guys how I deal with the new meta against really good players, because Goma and Elwa are probably some of the best players I've come across. There are really good players in ranked too, but yeah, I deal with it much easier in ranked because some people are just not as good. But Explosive Wave is still really good, regardless if you're going up against a Whis player. So you can see how it's saving me from getting opened up. Oh, you might have also noticed I transformed to SS Gohan and not SS2. The reason being is in the beginning of the match, when I was stalling Whis out to gain that one skill point, I don't want to stall out until I have 2 skill points, right? So I just spent that 1 skill point, got a stronger character with Explosive Wave, and that's all I really needed. I didn't need SS2 Gohan. Okay, I switch out to Slug. He brings back in his Whis. Yeah, Slug with his slow ki charging is probably not the best. Any character that has a really slow ki charging rate is probably not that great anymore. I hit him with the Sonic Sway. He does have enough for a regeneration. He spends 2 skill points on a revenge counter though, which was probably a mistake on his part. I don't agree with that. Super Perception him. Yeah, you could also counter Whis by just spamming Super Perceptions if they're in front of you, because the Super Perception will stop the low sweep or the gut punch. And you want to stop that because you don't want to get hit by Whis' combos. So you really need to take advantage of all of your defensive tools to avoid Whis from doing this. 13k damage from the most simple combo ever. He gets the regeneration off. I couldn't do anything about it. I tried my best to stop him. But you see, I used another Super Perception, so you really, really need to hold Perception against Whis in the middle of his combos. Do not let him get a gut punch. Do not let him get a low sweep. And don't even let him open you up. You can see I'm spamming Perception even beforehand. I have 3 skill points with Gohan, so I have an Explosive Wave at my disposal. Next time I switch him in, I know he'll be safe for a few interactions. He switches out his Whis into Hercule, of all characters. Once Hercule comes out, it's the same game plan as before the patch. You gotta try and damage him as much as possible. Do not let him switch out his Hercule.
Gosh, that was stressful. GG, Goma.
Okay, I think that was a really close game, and it came to a timeout. And yeah, I think they need to increase the time limit to like 10 minutes or something. Okay, here I am going up against SSJ4 Gogeta, which was not a very common sight in DP battle. But now that singles is more like, I mean, damn, Fruity and Slip. Now that DP is more like singles, but with cannon fodder on the sidelines, you're probably going to see a lot more SSJ4 Gogeta. And the best thing to do against SSJ4 Gogeta is to not let him open you up. Like, look at that. He just did almost, he basically did 10k damage. Yep. Barely touched me. He did nearly 10k. He did over 10k damage. You could sidestep supers when they're pretty close to you. Rush supers, I should say. He just used the Wild Sense. I wasn't paying attention, and look at this. He nearly, he did 50% damage to my Gohan in just a few interactions. The best thing to do is to zone out Gogeta, because his charged Ki Blast is not that great. It does a lot of damage up close, which is another thing, is that you gotta really choose your engagements very intelligently against an SSJ4 Gogeta, especially if you're using a low DP character. The best thing to do is just to zone him out, see if he uses a Wild Sense, charge Ki, approach him slowly, and then bait out the Wild Sense and punish him. Which is basically what I do this entire match. And that was a really weird, that was jarring to see. You can see how I'm not really risking offensive mistakes here, although I still get opened up. Okay, I'm trying to overwhelm him with multiple characters. I was able to bait out a Wild Sense, but it just doesn't work out in my favor, even though I did punish him slightly. Yep, I disengage because Gogeta is very dangerous. Now I'm looking to see if he activates a Wild Sense. He has enough for instant sparking. Which Gogeta is another one of those characters. Once they're in sparking mode, they could just ping pong you around all game. You gotta be very careful against SSJ4 Gogeta. He uses instant spark. I poke him with a Ki Blast to stop him. Yep, I charge some Ki in front of him because I need more Ki, just in case if he uses a Wild Sense. I think he used the Wild Sense. That's why I'm very careful in my approach, because he used the Wild Sense. And even though I punished him, I just get super countered right away. Yep, I do a quick recovery because I knew he was gonna go for instant spark. So against these high DP characters, you have to be very mindful of their skill points. Alright, against MUI Goku, against Whis, against Gogeta, their skills are extremely strong. They're very strong characters in the first place, but their skills make them even stronger. So you have to watch out for it and be ready to counter it once you see they have enough to activate a certain skill. And that's just another reason why it was so mind-boggling to me earlier when someone in my chat said Roshi and Videl were much more difficult and annoying to deal with than the high DP characters. Because those characters, their only strengths was that one skill, being after image strike. But I don't know what to say. The high DP characters have really strong skills, along with once they touch you once, you're almost dead. So I'm just gonna stick by what I said. The high DP characters are much more difficult to deal with. And even if you have a high DP character of your own, one mistake means you're done for. Okay, now it's Roshi against my Zarbon. So the best thing here when you see someone has a 10 DP character, right, is to try and force them or get them to switch out their 10 DP character, and then you can just put the moves on their lower DP characters. Which is what I did here. So I was able to put Videl in the blender. Now I'm putting his Roshi in the blender. He's just super countering me over and over. It's insane. Damn, I can't get a super counter off. That's unfortunate. and I don't recover from that, so that's even more unfortunate. And I get hit by that, that's even more unfortunate. Damn. Oh well. I get some people in my comments, oh, just do this and that, and it's just like, I want to see you play, because I want to see this perfect gameplay that people say is very easy to perform. I make tons of mistakes. My opponent makes tons of mistakes. You watch high-level gameplay, competitive gameplay, they make tons of mistakes. Yes, you could simply just vanish a lot of what's going on, but we're not perfect players. Nobody's a perfect player. If there is, then they're probably number one. And if you're claiming that it's so easy, then I'd love to see your gameplay, and I'd love to see flawless 10 games in a row of flawless gameplay, because I have gameplay where I don't really make many mistakes, but I do make tons of mistakes, and so does my opponent. It's all about capitalizing on your opponent's mistakes, and he capitalized there. I couldn't super counter, I didn't recover, I didn't vanish. Alright, now is my time to capitalize. Oh man, the Z burst dash reset. I still do it sometimes. When I see they're in kill range and I have enough ki to do it, I'll do it. It's risky, but whatever. Okay, he gets instant sparking off with Gogeta. This is going to be scary. I don't know why he did that. Yeah, it just ran out his sparking timer even quicker. I bait out his wild sense. Like I said, the most important thing against these higher DP characters is not to get caught by their skills. The reason being is one interaction from them could mean death. Like right here, look at this. And if you don't bait out their wild sense, that means one extra interaction that they've won. I activate my own wild sense, and I win the timeout. And you can see that was a stressful match for me. That was very stressful. It's still mind-boggling to me that people say 10 DP characters, high DP characters, is easier to deal with than low DP characters. I've had many videos of me dealing with low DP characters without an issue. Okay, I had another comment on my last video saying that, oh, you should be happy that we don't see Broly anymore. I see Broly a crap ton still. He's still very meta, especially with the stalling game. The name of the game with Broly before was to stall until he had enough skill points to transform. Now that stalling has been buffed, he could get his transformations off more easily. Lucky for me, I'm just putting this guy in the blender. I've damaged him enough to the point where if he transforms, I'm not scared of legendary Broly anymore. For all I care, he could transform now, because he's not going to have much health. And I've already forced him to use a lot of skill points, so he's not going to have Sparking Mode off rip. Or as soon as usual. So he's using Broly and Whis. This is a two-man team, which could be very scary. He is using a team of sweepers. Can't really call it a team, it's only two, but he's using two sweepers, basically. And one of them, Whis, has regeneration, so it's kind of like another character. You could consider his regeneration like a half of a character, so Whis feels like 1.5 characters because of how much health he could regenerate. I don't know why people try to do that move against me. Like, I find it disrespectful doing the low sweep loops. He could have just hit me with a super there. Like, you don't think I could vanish the low sweeps? I say that, but I do get caught by them sometimes. I think MUI Goku with the low sweep loops is super difficult to vanish, because MUI Goku, his charge attacks are very slow, so you could do a multitude of timings with it. Okay, I put the moves on his Whis, I put the moves on his Broly. And you can see I'm purposely trying to get him trigger super perception. I see he's the type to hold perception, so I keep hitting him with my rush chain attacks to trigger super perception. I do not want him using a regeneration. And he switches in his Broly. Good for me, because that's just more damage I could put out onto him. He could have hit me with a super here, but he chooses not to. Probably because he wants to do that thing, yeah, where you gain a full key gauge and just charge into sparking mode. So that was his game plan. Okay, good for me. I forced him to use an explosive wave. And these characters who depend greatly on skill points, you want to burn their skill points. But against high DP characters, it's very dangerous, because if you force them to use a super perception, it sets you guys back at neutral. There's no guaranteeing that you win that next engagement. If they win it, that's a lot of damage off on you. So now it's very risky to force your opponent to burn skill points. Whereas before, against low DP characters who depended on skill points, you could just force them to burn it and it wouldn't be much of an issue. Okay, good for me. I down his legendary Broly. Yeah, that's been a glitch in the game for a long time, where if you switch your character and then they challenge, if you switch your character to follow up for a Vanish War and then they challenge the Vanish War, sometimes the follow-up Vanish will just go through your character, and vice versa. He tries to use a Vanishing Assault to knock me back, probably because he has almost has enough for a regeneration. I knock him back. I thought we were closer to the ground there. He has enough for a regeneration. And man, yeah, taking advantage of vertical movements is so strong. It just makes combos so awkward. You can't really do much about it. It's probably best to just dash away and then do a Z burst dash and take their back. Okay, he managed to charge into sparking mode. And that's a new thing, right? Knowing when you could just raw charge into sparking mode. In the previous meta, that was pretty difficult to do, because with how easy it was to close the distance with Z burst dashing. But now a lot of people just raw charge into a full key gauge and raw charge into sparking mode. So you also have to know when you have that opportunity. Of course, that's not within my playstyle, so I don't really do that too often. Luckily for me, I don't get punished too often for it, but I should learn that spacing now. I try to raw super him. As you can tell, I'm still not that great at looking for the raw supers. Gohan, adult Gohan specifically, is very good at doing raw supers because his Masenko does not require a step back.
Hey, thanks a bunch.
And I win that match. So his team is very heavily dependent on skill points. So that's two things to know, right? They're heavily dependent on skill points. Broly wants to transform and go into sparking mode. Whis wants to get his regeneration off. So if you can manage to burn their skill points through forcing them to use a super perception, that's a good thing. Broly, you want to basically do as much damage as you can to him. You want to go crazy on him. Do not stall him out. Do not allow him to stall you out either. Engage. Whis, you want to play slowly against them and choose your engagements wisely. I think I discussed this earlier. Okay, I get his Broly into red health. Again, now I'm not scared of his Broly anymore. He could have punished me there, but he chooses not to. And this is the strength of Whis. He just comes in and immediately does like what? 15k, and this is a glitch. You could see I was you could see my inputs there. Go back 5 seconds and you could see I was frozen in place, even though even though I was mashing several buttons at once, because I was like, why can't I move? Luckily I had Wild Sense up, and the Wild Sense saved me. But that's another game-breaking glitch. I don't know how often that could happen, but that's very annoying. Okay, I hit him with a Sonic Sway. I don't know if Whis' auto dodge is as strong as Goku's. I don't know if it's the same, if it's like programmed the same way. I do feel like MUI Goku's auto dodge is way more annoying. I'm not sure. Someone would have to let me know. Oh man, look at this damage. Tries to hit me with a low sweep. Okay, brings back in his Broly. He could transform here. Or very close to it. You need 3 skill points actually. Yep, he had a wild sense up. This is why you have to look at your opponent's skill gauge, so you know when they have a wild sense up. Just getting hit by like 2 wild senses could turn the tides of the battle. Okay, he's deciding to throw hands with Broly. His goal here is just to hit me with the Z-Burst dash loops and hit me with the untechable grab. And you can see how much damage that just did. Insane. Just 2 combos and my Zarbon's almost dead. If he landed another one of those loops, I would have been done for. And he has super armor, so you have to hit them with a low sweep or a gut punch or something. You have to hit them. If your character doesn't have a gut punch on first rush chain, you have to hit them with a low sweep ASAP. 1 hit and then low sweep. 1 hit and then low sweep. So get that into your muscle memory. You should go into the lab right now and practice. 1 hit, low sweep. 1 hit, low sweep. Fortunately for me, Broly can be zoned out with charged ki blasts. If your opponent doesn't know that he has to stand still to deflect the charged ki blast, you will be able to outzone Broly, which my opponent here clearly did not know to do that. And he gets a regeneration off with Whis. I just let him do it because like there's nothing I could really do about it. So if you don't have enough ki and he gets a regeneration off, don't even spend it on a Z-Burst dash. Just sit there and charge even more ki, which I did not do that, but once I get that muscle memory down, that's probably what I'm gonna do. Especially if he's far away. The regeneration goes off so quickly, it's really not worth spending 2 ki bars to try and approach just to get punished. So that's how strong Whis is. He's probably going to get his regeneration off, unless you already have enough ki to approach and you can read out. But there have been many times someone got regeneration off literally inches away from me because it just went off that quickly, and I'm just like over there trying to play defensively thinking he's gonna try and open me up. Okay, he goes into sparking mode. That was kind of funny to watch. He kept trying to dash at me because he thought I was gonna elevator. He's trying to hit me with the Z-Burst dash loops. The Z-Burst dash loops are very strong in sparking mode. Very strong. And yeah. The meta now with sparking is to not even use your ultimate. It's to try and catch your opponent in a combo, get them in an infinite loop, and then once sparking mode is expired, hopefully you've had knocked them back and then just charge into sparking mode again. And constantly do that. You can see that's exactly what he's trying to do. He sees that I see that, but the angle is weird, as I said earlier. The vertical angles makes it really awkward to combo someone. He gets another regeneration off. Like I said, Whis feels like 1.5 characters. Sometimes even he could even feel like 2 characters. Another thing about Whis is that his barrier is not that good, so if you could force him to spend his skill points on a barrier, that's good too. But a decent Whis player probably wouldn't do it and just eat the damage and then know that all they need is 1 extra skill point to get a regeneration off. I catch him with my perception, and that's exactly what I do. I was able to force him to use a barrier. He should have just kept mashing super counter and hope he gets a super counter off on me. Hope I get knocked back by it, and then he's able to get a regeneration off. But it's not like I disagree with the barrier. In that position, you have to do something because he was about to lose the game. But yeah, that's the new meta, guys. A lot of people tell me, oh, you just gotta simply adapt, and it's just like, I have adapted. Maybe not to the MUI Goku meta, but I have adapted. That doesn't change the fact that I simply think it's worse. It's way more annoying to deal with than the previous meta, and that was the point of my last video. It's just now it's way more difficult. The meta is a lot stronger. But it is what it is. You see, I have adapted. I have analyzed. I have ascended, sort of. But anyway, if you guys learned something, like and subscribe. Have a good night, you guys.